Hello everyone, welcome to Tzu Chi This Week. I'm Duncan DeAeth and it's great to have you with us. Since its establishment in 1966, to date, Tzu Chi Foundation's footprints span across 94 countries. In 2016, Tzu Chi volunteers visited countries such as Serbia and Ecuador for the first time to deliver aid to refugees in the face of the European refugee crisis and to provide humanitarian relief to victims of disaster in Ecuador. As we embrace a new year, let us reflect and look back on 2016 to see how Tzu Chi volunteers worked to light up dark corners of the world with their love. In those fatal 49 seconds, the entire country shook. Ecuador, a country which marks the middle of the world, experienced its biggest earthquake in 70 years. The Tzu Chi Foundation quickly mobilized its volunteers in the United States, Brazil, Paraguay, Chile, Argentina, and Ecuador to provide humanitarian aid. The coastal province of Manabi was among the worst affected. The Buddhist NGO carried out cash for relief programs in Porto Viejo and Manta and called on residents to clean up their homes. The moment local officials handed the first payment to disaster victims, their eyes welled up with tears. The Tzu Chi U.S. headquarters also initiated a fundraising campaign through social media to help the quake victims.
I'm pranking for Ecuador.
Challenge for Ecuador relief.
Una plancha por Ecuador.
People coming here, ask the army and check for the police and port police. He's coming now.
How many people are there?
I don't know.
We are people! We are people! We need you! We need you! We want you! We want you open border! We want you open border!
The refugee crisis in Europe continues to escalate as it becomes a global humanitarian challenge. Anger, sorrow, and frustration are building up along the Serbian border. In March of last year, Tzu Chi volunteers from 11 countries formed a team in Serbia to distribute winter clothing. However, refugees did not show up for 2 days in a row.
Okay. Thank you.
Eventually, volunteers separated into smaller teams to deliver winter clothing to the refugee shelters and relay stations instead. Upon visiting refugee children at the camps, volunteers gave them peace charms as gifts. In December, Serbia's temperature dropped below freezing. Thus, Tzu Chi organized a second distribution of winter clothing in the country. From dusk till dawn, after a 7-hour ride, volunteers finally delivered their bundles of love into the hands of the refugees. Since 2003, Taiwan's Council of Agriculture has been donating rice to Africa through the Tzu Chi Foundation. Starting from South Africa, Taiwan's rice has now made its way to 7 countries, helping the poor.
See, we don't know where is Taiwan, so today we are very, very, very happy.
In Mozambique, some housewives that received Taiwan's rice got creative and turned the rice bags into eco-friendly grocery bags. This display of love then made its way back to the Council of Agriculture in Taiwan.
It's been 10 days after the earthquake, and I have been suppressing my sadness and emotions. As time goes by, I feel more settled. However, if I think back on the events, I get emotional and start to tear up again.
Tzu Chi volunteers arrived at Ground Zero to offer tea, hot food, and comfort to the earthquake victims. Such little gestures of compassion are a glimmer of hope in times of crisis.
Some villages are extremely difficult to reach because of the poor road conditions. There are only a few ditches, but it's costly.
Their livelihood is dependent on the crops, so they don't have that kind of money around.
Even with the harsh road conditions, this has never stopped Tzu Chi volunteers from delivering medicine to the sick and suffering for almost 20 years.
Many people before they join TIMA have a preconceived idea that Tzu Chi needs medical professionals. But once you've joined, you realize that it's actually the medical professionals that need Tzu Chi.
There were people who lost everything overnight. Truthfully speaking, no one would know what the next step is.
在第一时间，师兄师姐马上集结起来。
Our brothers and sisters immediately mobilized and set up a command center. We also set up 7 service stations around Weiguan Jinlong building. Over the course of the next 9 days, Tzu Chi volunteers worked in 6-hour shifts to provide the best possible support to the rescue workers and the victims' families.
We wanted to help them heal emotionally as quickly as possible so that they won't feel anxious all the time.
All the volunteers have been very helpful and caring. They're just like my sons and daughters.
Driving through the long and winding mountainous roads, volunteers deliver much-needed love and care just in time. The Taidong Jingse Hall has been transformed into a mobile Chinese medicine hospital. Meanwhile, in Taimali, TIMA doctors help heal the mind and the body. In the aftermath of the disaster, volunteers assisted residents with cleanup, organized distributions, and free medical clinics. Tzu Chi's quick response was appreciated by local residents.
We want to express our thanks to Tzu Chi for taking care of us, so now we are paying this love forward.
Although we lost our home, at least we are safe from harm. Tzu Chi reached out to us, so even if I don't have money, I will contribute my strength.
In 2016, Tzu Chi spread love and compassion to relieve the sick and suffering. In Haiti, after Hurricane Matthew struck in October, thousands were left without food or water and in desperate need of aid. Volunteers were there to deliver aid to residents. Despite many obstacles, they were undeterred and faithful in their mission.
Residents of Jeremy are enjoying their first meals since Hurricane Matthew struck Haiti in October last year. Knowing that Haitians typically enjoy rice that is cooked with red beans, Tzu Chi shipped 3.9 tons of red bean-flavored instant rice by air. Tzu Chi volunteers called on residents to join the Cash for Relief program to restore the city's former appearance.
This used to be a very beautiful city. We hope that by combining our strength, we will soon be able to restore the city's former beauty. Even if we are relying on the strength and resources of a charity organization, I am still very proud of our efforts. Because of Tzu Chi's Cash for Relief program, our streets are cleaner now.
Volunteers also purchase zinc plates and nails locally to help disaster victims repair their houses so that they may return home as soon as possible.
Mainly because I don't have a job. If I do find one, it'll take 2 to 3 years before I can save up enough money to rebuild my home.
Although Tzu Chi volunteers have decades of international relief experience, each visit to Haiti has been filled with obstacles. Despite the difficult challenges they face, volunteers remain firm, having continuously spread compassion in Haiti for the past 16 years. As part of its humanitarian aid project, Taiwan's Agriculture and Food Agency donates rice to Haiti through the Tzu Chi Foundation. Between 2014 and 2016, a total of 1,340 tons of rice has been donated to assist Haiti.
We first check our national supply to see if our rice production is at a sufficient level and that it will not affect international trade regulations. Once we have determined that our rice production is at a sufficient level, we donate the surplus to aid humanitarian efforts.
Many schools in Haiti lay in ruins following the 2010 earthquake. Tzu Chi decided to assist with the reconstruction of 3 schools for the Congregation of Sisters of St. Anne, as well as a local kindergarten for the Haiti National Association of Girl Scouts. Tzu Chi volunteer Chen Jin from the United States has traveled to Haiti more than 60 times. After the 2010 earthquake, he was among the first to conduct a disaster assessment in Haiti and witness the devastation firsthand. Even at the risk of contracting infectious diseases and putting himself in peril, Chen nevertheless marched forward courageously to help.
The education is a future. We will make difference. Of course, the most important person I want to appreciate is our dear master and the global Tzu Chi volunteers. Without your love, we cannot make it.
Apart from Tzu Chi, over the years there has been an outpouring of love from international NGOs as well. However, there are still many serious problems which confront Haiti, even just meeting basic living standards which must be addressed by the government. The life of 16-year-old Kudener is like many others here in Haiti.
If I don't go to school, I can only stay home. Besides helping my mom with the cooking, I also have to fetch water. I go to the nearby well to get underground water so that my family will have water. Sometimes I read a bit, then I go to church.
Residents mostly use underground water here in Haiti. Although the wealthy can afford to drill their own water well, those who cannot can only fetch water from a supply station. Haiti's water supply system is funded by foreign countries. However, this only covers construction funds, not maintenance costs, making the water supply coverage less than 3%. Usually after consecutive days of rain or hurricanes, the water source often becomes contaminated, which is a risk factor for a cholera outbreak.
Cholera is spreading because the water is unclean and contaminated. What we need most right now is clean water, food, and medicine.
Top priority clearly for those people affected by the hurricane is to give them access to safe water. That's the only way we can control cholera on the long term in Haiti and elsewhere.
In the absence of adequate treatment, death can occur within hours of contracting cholera. In the aftermath of the earthquake in 2010, UN peacekeepers accidentally brought cholera to Haiti.
联合国从尼泊尔派来的维和部队是这一血源性疾病的来源。联合国已经确定这一株病毒来源于东南亚。
At the time, the outbreak killed more than 9,000 people. Today, the cholera epidemic continues to harm local Haitians, while at the same time, we have seen the rise of a new industry in Haiti.
But they don't have containers. We have to bring the containers.
This store in Jeremy sells water that is treated by reverse osmosis. A barrel of 5-gallon water costs 45 gourds, or about 67 US cents. but a container will cost you 450 gourds, which is about $6.68, something not every family can afford. Thus, these families are forced to seek other alternatives.
5 gourds.
5 gourds. 5 gourds is about 10 cents in US dollars for this bucket of water. But this is not drinking water. They'll need to put in filters.
Rainwater is free and is just like a gift from the heavens. Between May and October is Haiti's monsoon season. Therefore, this is a common sight. Haiti does not have a water shortage problem, but the government needs to come up with more effective ways to save water.
So this is my daughter.
Hi, how are you?
Her name is Jade.
How about the little boy?
It's my nephew, Alex.
Gabriel used to be a white-collar worker, and this is where she lives with her family of 10. Although it's not very big, the house was built over a 15-year period.
Before I was working for UN. I worked for UN doing 10 years. I was a human rights officer. And after 10 years, I quit.
When was that?
I left last year.
Having worked as a human rights officer for the UN, Gabriel feels somewhat helpless with the current situation back home.
Because no electricity is not working for that moment. But when it works, we have water, juice for kids, we put everything for the children. And especially when they have to go to school, sometimes we buy yogurt and stuff for them to go to school, so we put it in the fridge. But now, no electricity.
Even though Gabriel's family can afford a refrigerator, television, and computer, they become like ornaments sitting around the house. This is because Haiti's power system is unstable and electricity is only available for a few hours a day. Water and electricity, such basic needs, have unfortunately become a matter of vital importance to the survival of the people here in Haiti.
Tzu Chi's love spans the globe. However, Taiwan's neighbors in South Asia often feel Tzu Chi's presence the most. In nations such as Myanmar, Thailand, and Indonesia, where residents don't have much, many find support and inspiration from Tzu Chi. Now we look back at the love Tzu Chi has offered South Asia and see how Tzu Chi's mission has inspired many recipients to pay that love forward. Hanbantota of Sri Lanka. After the 2004 tsunami, Tzu Chi's Da'i village was erected.
Are you happy to see this photo?
Yes, very much. we all want to thanks to Taiwan, the Tzu Chi Foundation.
From then until now, Tzu Chi's presence remains. Whether it is visiting residents who have lost their homes due to flooding, or those who have fallen ill.
I couldn't brush my hair because my finger would hurt. I'm so glad to have had your help.
In Indonesia, Aceh City also suffered a tsunami. This lovely scene shows the completion of 3 Da'i villages. Meanwhile, in the capital, Jakarta, the Angka River is nicknamed Black Heart of Jakarta. Helping to transform the river, volunteers dredged and cleaned the river. The surrounding area was disinfected and free clinics were held. A Da'i village was also built. After the completion of these 5 projects, the Angka River regained its former glory.
This will become Indonesia Venice.
Growing up along the banks of the Angka River, this little girl describes how the transformation of the river also changed her life around. Her story won a National Writing Award.
I like the school. It's much better than the one before.
This year, with the passing of the King of Thailand, Bangkok Tzu Chi volunteers went into action to do good deeds on behalf of the king. For 5 days in a row, they prepared 2,000 breakfasts.
I want to do some good deeds to send the merits to the king because he's always worked for the betterment of his people. I want to do what I can.
The breakfasts were sent to the Grand Palace, where residents were paying their respects to the king. The same kind of care has also been given to warm the hearts of refugees in the country, as Tzu Chi regularly holds free medical clinics for them.
We come here for my all family members, 16 family members, came here now for checkup.
This is wonderful. Looks like it's functioning very well. So I hope this can continue without any problems in the future.
In 2011, torrential rain poured down in Thailand and flooded 1/3 of the country. Tzu Chi volunteers made hot meals to distribute to residents. They sent out aid supplies, held free clinics, as well as assisted locals repairing their homes.
I was moved, though I never participated in the volunteer work. I was inspired by your dedication today. I hope that I can join you in the future.
In Myanmar, rice is plentiful once more. After the 2008 Cyclone Nargis disaster, Tzu Chi returns to the area each year to hold rice distributions to help farmers with their harvest. From worrying about his crop yield to having enough left over to share, this farmer saves a handful of rice each day to help the less fortunate. This kind act has spread from one person to one village to much more.
Although I only donate a handful of rice, it's not enough in my opinion. I want to donate a 667 square meter harvest. I thought I was poor before, but now I've seen those who are more poor than me.
Tzu Chi Foundation's charitable giving helps plant valuable seeds of love in the world. If you were suddenly diagnosed with terminal cancer, how would you face your remaining days? One Tzu Chi volunteer, Lin Yizhi, faced just such a question. Let's hear his inspiring story at the end of our program. Hello everyone, I'm Lin Yizhi. I invite listeners to speak the right words and walk the right path.
Lin Yizhi has a hoarse voice, which is one of the side effects from chemotherapy.
I also realized that when doing the radio show, that the program can be rewound, but our life can't, as we just need to bravely face challenges. The big lesson in life is having the courage to face challenges.
He has been a Tzu Chi volunteer for 20 years and has wholeheartedly contributed, but his health conditions persist as he has been diagnosed with 4 kinds of cancer, with the doctor pronouncing him in the terminal stage of his cancer.
I'm at the final stage of my cancer, and now there's nothing left. But I still want to be someone, and not an invisible person, as I want to be positive and tell everyone that illness fears happiness.
With a hearty laugh and smile, Brother Lin Yizhi tells everyone that he still cherishes every day and strives to enjoy his life, as he tells everyone that life should not be empty.
Volunteers across the world are celebrating the Lunar New Year. Many are holding distributions for families that could use a little help getting through the winter. On behalf of DaAi TV, we wish you all a wonderful Lunar New Year.